Good day, everyone. I'm Eldin Camposo, and today I invite you to reflect on a powerful truth that education is not merely a personal achievement. It is the heartbeat of a nation's progress. It shapes minds, builds economies, and strengthens the very fabric of our democracy. In this presentation, we will journey through the transformative power of education, how it fuels innovation, uplifts communities, and empowers citizens to shape a better future. Because when we invest in education, we don't just teach, we build nations. And let's begin by exploring the foundational role of education in national development. And education is the cornerstone of national progress. It builds human capital, it promotes civic engagement, drives productivity, and strengthens democratic institutions. But above all, education is the great equalizer, opening doors to opportunities, restoring dignity, and igniting hope in every learner regardless of his or her background. And it is not just a tool for development, it is the soul of a just and a thriving society. Now, let's begin by exploring how education builds human capital and drives economic productivity. According here, education is one of the most powerful tools for building human capital, which refers to the collective skills, knowledge, and abilities possessed by individuals that enable them to create economic value. Because, as we all know, and according to research, a well educated population contributes more effectively to the economy by driving productivity, fostering innovation, and improving competitiveness. Let's talk about skills development and labor productivity. Education equips individuals with foundational and advanced skills like literacy, numeracy, problem solving, and digital competence. Now, these are essential in both traditional and emerging industries. The accumulation of these skills leads to improve labor productivity, which directly boosts national income. And Hanushek and Vuzman emphasize that it is not merely the number of schooling years, but also the quality of learning outcomes that significantly impact long term economic growth. Their cross country study revealed that a one standard deviation improvement in student test scores correlates with a 2% increase in annual GDP growth. Since we're talking about GDP growth and educational attainment, countries with higher average levels of educational attainment generally experience higher per capita income levels. Now, investments in education lead to increased employment rates, greater entrepreneurial activity, and higher earnings, of course. According to the World Bank 2018, every additional year of schooling is associated with a 10% increase in an individual's income. And this effect is even more pronounced for women and those in low income countries. Education also fuels technological adoption and innovation, which are critical for modern economies. Like higher education institutions contribute to research and development, while technical and vocational programs supply industries with highly skilled labor. Golden and Katz demonstrated that the expansion of secondary and tertiary education in the United States during the 20th century played a pivotal role in boosting national productivity and establishing the country's global economic leadership. Now, beyond economics, um, education also plays a vital role in shaping civic values and national identity. Educated individuals are more likely to vote, engage in civic life, and support democratic values. Now, schools transmit social norms, foster patriotism, and teach the importance of civic duties. UNESCO 2016 underscores education's role in shaping peaceful societies and cultivating active citizenship through curricula that address human rights, multiculturalism, and sustainable development. Education also serves as a powerful tool for promoting social mobility and equity. Access to quality education levels the playing field for disadvantaged populations, offering a path out of poverty and reducing systemic inequality. According to Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD 2012, equity in education not only ensures social justice, but also brings long term economic benefits such as reduced spending on health and welfare. When education helps individuals gain employment and escape poverty, they are less dependent on government welfare, healthcare subsidies, and unemployment support. And education contributes to preventive health behaviors, reducing the long term burden on public health systems. Finally, let's now consider how education strengthens democratic institutions and governance. Education develops critical thinking, media literacy, and ethical reasoning. Now, these skills are actually necessary for resisting authoritarianism and strengthening public accountability. According to Asimoglu and Robinson, 2012, education fosters the capacity for collective action, enabling citizens to demand good governance and resist institutional decay. When a population is educated, it becomes harder for authoritarian regimes to consolidate power without resistance. And as we go further, let's remember that education doesn't happen in isolation. Big changes around the world, like new technology, climate issues, changes in population, are affecting how we teach and learn. Now, let's take a look at these global changes and how they impact education and national growth. We begin with how technology and artificial intelligence are reshaping education. Now, they're actually changing the nature of jobs and the competencies needed in the workforce. Education systems must prioritize digital literacy, coding, and critical thinking to prepare learners for new roles. While Elon Musk supports AI development, he also warned about its risk, especially if society isn't prepared. He stresses that the importance of reforming education to teach problem solving, ethics, and adaptability rather than rote memorization. The World Economic Forum 2023 also identifies that a global reskilling imperative, noting that over 50% of all employees will require significant upskilling by 2025 due to technology driven disruptions. Globalization is another key factor, driving changes in educational priorities and practices. And global interconnectivity increases the demand for internationally competitive education. Students and faculty mobility, international rankings, and transnational programs push institutions to modernize curricula. At Back and Night 2007 highlight how globalization intensifies the internationalization of higher education, requiring institutions to adapt to global standards while preserving local relevance. And we must also address the persistent inequalities in access to quality education. Now, education gaps persist due to poverty, gender discrimination, and geographic isolation. COVID 19 further exacerbated these divides. I mean, the pushing millions out of formal education systems. The UNESCO GEM report estimates that over 258 million children and youth are out of school, with marginalized groups most affected by remote learning limitations during the pandemic. Environmental challenges call for integrating sustainability into education systems. Education systems must address the climate crisis by integrating environmental education and sustainability into curricula, ensuring that learners develop ecological awareness and green skills. Now, learners should develop ecological literacy, the ability to understand natural systems, and acquire green skills such as energy efficiency, waste management, and sustainable agriculture. Now, these are essential for future employment in green industries. As a final point, demographic changes are reshaping educational needs across different regions. Demographic changes, particularly huge surges in developing nations and aging populations in developed countries, are reshaping global education priorities and policies. In youth rich countries like the Philippines and sub Saharan Africa, over 60% of the population is under 30. Now, this surge in the youth population offers a demographic advantage that can drive economic growth, provided that the governments make strategic investments in quality education, skills training, and job creation. Now, without these, risk of youth underemployment, social unrest, and out-migration increase. In contrast, developed nations like Japan and Germany face aging populations and shrinking workforces. Now, these countries focus on lifelong learning, adult education, and intergenerational knowledge sharing to maintain productivity. Many also depend on skilled immigration and international education recognition to address labor shortages. An ineffective response may trigger a demographic crisis with rising not in education, employment, or training, or NEET or NEET youth, more informal jobs, and heightened social and political instability. And the World Bank 2023 also notes that nearly one in four youth ages 15 to 24 globally are not in education, employment, or training, particularly in Asia, in South Asia, particularly, and in Africa as well. Now, despite its transformative power, education faces significant challenges like underfunding, curriculum mismatches, and unequal access that threatens its potential. And now let's uncover the barriers that hinder education from fully aligning with national development goals. We have number one, underfunding and resource gaps. Many low and middle income countries struggle with limited national budgets allocated to education. And this chronic underinvestment leads to low teacher salaries, resulting in low morale, high attrition, and difficulty attracting qualified educators. Next, inadequate infrastructure such as overcrowded classrooms, deteriorating school buildings, and lack of access to electricity or internet. We also have shortage of basic materials like textbooks, science equipment, and digital tools essential for modern learning. According to World Bank Group 2025, low-income countries spend only about $55 per student each year, and rising public debt is taking money away from important services like education and healthcare. Another challenge is the mismatch between educational curricula and labor market demands. There's a report, according to World Economic Forum, in the Future of Jobs report, the WEF found that 50% of employers globally report skills gaps as a major barrier to transformation. The report emphasizes that analytical thinking, creative thinking, and technological literacy are among the fastest growing core skills, while many education systems lag in preparing students for these demands. As reported by Asian Development Bank, in the Philippines, employers frequently cite a lack of problem solving and communication skills among graduates despite strong theoretical knowledge in our very own country. And let's also examine the disparities in educational access and quality across different populations. Access to quality education is not evenly distributed. Several systemic barriers persist, like students in rural or remote areas, often travel long distances to school and lack qualified teachers. And let's also examine the disparities in educational access and quality across different populations. When we talk about access to quality education, this is actually it's not evenly distributed and there are several systemic barriers that have persisted. We have, in terms of geographic, students in rural or remote areas often travel long distances to school and lack qualified teachers. Let's also talk about socioeconomic, like poverty forces many children to drop out early to work and support their families. And it's been going on in other parts of the Philippines, like even in the school that I'm working now, we have students that forced to stop to study because they really have to go to work to support their families. And as a continuation, let's also talk about gender and disability. Girls and children with disabilities face higher dropout rates and lower participation due to social and infrastructural barriers. UNICEF 2022 reports that children from the poorest households are four times more likely to be out of school than those from the wealthiest groups. And finally, institutional resistance and outdated standards also hinder educational innovation. Let's talk about bureaucratic inertia in policies for the digital transformation of schools educations. The OECD 2023 identifies bureaucratic inertia as a major obstacle to innovation, noting that rigid administrative structures often resist pedagogical change and digital integration. Outdated accreditation and evaluation standards. Gillian 2025 argues that current accreditation systems in higher education discourage innovation and protect legacy institutions by enforcing outdated standards. And the last part, lastly, let's also talk about lack of professional development for educators. UNESCO 2021 emphasizes that many teachers lack access to ongoing training in digital tools and modern pedagogies, which limits their ability to innovate. Now, these barriers actually must be addressed if we want education to truly serve national development. Malala Yousafzai once said, "One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world." And she was right because education is not just a policy, it's a promise. A promise to uplift the human spirit, to break the chains of poverty, and to build bridges of opportunity across generations. And it is the most powerful tool that we have to shape a future that is brighter, fairer, and more resilient for ourselves, for our communities, and for every child yet to dream. So let us not just advocate for education. Let us champion it. Let us make it the heartbeat of national development and legacy that will leave behind. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in. And this has been, again, Eldin Composo presenting.